Come on! Woo! Sure, it's a bill, but it's also silver afternoon.
I'm a real motor mouth, so I do a lot of chatty Cathy during my shows. But it's more than just chatty Cathy. It's like I'm talking to you about our history. And it's important. And I was gay before Stonewall. So we're going to go there and tell you about that and tell you some other stuff. And we're going to talk about the fact that I'm a screaming Marxist bitch, and we're going to talk about the fact that a whole bunch of you are also screaming Marxist bitches. You can't kid me. So, are we ready, Jacko? Okay, so we're going to do some songs from Lavender Country, and we're also going to do a few songs from my new album, Black Fairy Rose. And when you think gay, the first thing that you think about is sex, right? Duh. So I'm going to sing a song about gay sex to kick this off. Waking up to say hip hip hooray, I'm glad I'm gay. Can't repress my happiness ever since I tried your way. Gonna lay right here, greet the sun. Gay time loving's just begun, so come on, let's tumble in there. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Morning time feels so fine when I'm hanging out with you. Sun is up and clinging out, the night is out, bringing about the light to come out singing whoop-de-doo. Dancing rays, prancing, glancing orange and red. Drips of dawn are trickling on the corners of our bed. That's full of your flirting fingers. Your body odor lingers in my toes and in my nose and in my head. So whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Morning time feels so fine when I'm hanging out with you. Sun is up and clinging out, the night is out, bringing about the light to come out singing whoop-de-doo. Go, girl, go. My belly turns to jelly like a Nelly ingenue. Your tickling beard has got me geared for a nice long day with you. I don't feel like no rising rooster, 'cause I found a new excuse for sleeping in to begin whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Morning time feels so fine when I'm hanging out with you and you and you and you. Sun is light to come out singing whoop-de-doo. Come on, Jacko. Here comes some symbolism. You'll get it. There's milk and honey flowing when you're blowing Gabriel's horn. 7 come 11, looks like heaven gave up scorn. You're an angel, sure enough. You love her, man, you got the stuff to send my hip bones groaning to be born. So whoop-de-doo, 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 oh, whoop-de-doo. Morning time feels so fine when I'm hanging out with you. Hi, Grandpa. Sun is up and flinging out. The night is out, bringing about the light to come out singing whoop-de-doo. Sun is up and flinging out. The night is out, bringing about the light to come out singing whoop-de-doo. So whoop-de-doo. I had another first before I made Lavender Country. It was actually a more significant first than making Lavender Country, because this first changed the entire trajectory of my life. So in 1966, I joined the Peace Corps and went to India. And I want you all to know that I am the very first person in the world to be kicked out of the American Peace Corps in 1966 for sucking dick. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Numero uno. It's my tiara. I'm planning, they say you can't take it with you, but I'm taking that tiara right into the incinerator with me. It's mine. Nobody is getting that one. It's mine. It was a very painful experience. Really painful. Fucked up my head. I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, I'm really sad." And she said, "How sad?" And I said, "Really sad." And she said, "I better take you to the doctor." And she took me to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Oh, queer, mental illness. Take him to Stellicum. Put him in the nuthatch. That's where mental illness people go." So they trucked me down to Tacoma and threw me in the nuthatch. Fuck. I'm in a fucking mental institution, okay? Now you're getting a picture of life before Stonewall, right? This is what it was like for a lot of us. Frances Farmer got thrown into Stellicum, and you all know what happened to her there. Multiple rapes, electroshock. She was locked up for 20 years in Stellicum because she was a dyke. I was fortunate. There was an angel of mercy there. And I don't know who she was. She wasn't on my team. She wasn't one of my counselors. She didn't even work on my floor. I don't even know if she worked in the hospital. She might have been an angel for all I know. But she walked up to me and she said, "Listen to me, honey. I have something really important to tell you. You're not sick, you're gay. There's nothing wrong with you. Nobody here can help you." I said, "Well, what should I do?" And she said, "You're a smart fellow, you'll figure it out, but I'm telling you, nobody here can help you. You need to get out of here." And I was a voluntary commitment, so I did have the right to leave, so I did that day. And I moved to Spokane. And about 3 weeks after I got to Spokane, I got a job as a psychiatric caseworker. I sure did. I was a really good psychiatric caseworker too. And everybody around me was wondering, how come I had so much empathy? Duh! Takes one to know one, Mary. We're getting into the next song. In Spokane, there was one gay bar. And it was a dirty little dingy thing with no lights, no neon. It certainly didn't have any mirror balls and disco and all that shit. That came later. There was no neon. There was no lights. There weren't even any windows. There was a plain gray door that you had to sneak into, hoping the police weren't watching or somebody that you worked with wasn't watching. But of course they were watching. So they could call your wife or your boss or whatever and rip your ass. It was a terrifying place. Terrifying. And I wrote a song about it, about that gay bar in Spokane before Stonewall. Slither down the street to find the plain gray door, linger by the mirror and check my hair before I slide into an empty stool to cruise a guy who's shooting pool. He probably thinks that I'm a fool. Try to keep my composure when I get the cold shoulder. I got the gay bar blues. These gay bar blues have put the skates on me. Oh yeah. Oh, when's my sugar daddy gonna set me free? If he don't come soon, I bet I'll die from smoking cigarettes on Spokane Avenue. Going home without nobody, I got the gay bar blues. Look here, I tried going straight. I dug up all the moolah, moved home to Missoula, dated Susie Q from high school. Last time I asked her, I had to get plastered. It ended in disaster. If I don't hook a dude, I'm gonna drown in wine coolers. I got the gay bar blues. These gay bar blues have put the skates on me. Oh yeah. When's my my sugar daddy gonna set me free. If he don't come soon, I bet I'll die from smoking cigarettes on Spokane Avenue. Going home without nobody, I got the gay bar blues. Tear it up, Jacko. Could ever find a halfway decent man, I'd never have to sneak into this sleazy dump again. Never have to worry if police or jerks I work with are spying on the plain gray door. Everybody in this place is smiling. We're all dying inside blue. Yes, everybody in this place is smiling. We're all dying inside. Dying inside blue. We're dying inside blue. We're dying inside, yeah. So that's a little taste of what life was like before Stonewall. It was a really shitty time. But I got over it. I did move home to Missoula. And I did date Susie Q from high school. And it was a disaster. It was a disaster. But I was in Missoula in 1969 in June when the Stonewall riots happened. And I couldn't stand it one more minute. So I came out in Missoula, Montana in 1969 with the loggers and the miners and the bikers. That was a dicey story too, but at least I was out, and I didn't get killed. And that was miraculous. But I did. I came out in Missoula in 1969, and then I moved to Seattle to go to graduate school to learn how to be a better psychiatric caseworker. But I was already a really good one, okay? In Seattle, I met in Tacoma the folks who were doing the anti-war GI coffee house thing. You know, Jane Fonda, fuck the army and all that. And they were a bunch of radicals. And that's where I turned on to real radical ideas. And I learned a lot, and that's where the first glimmerings of me transforming myself from a petty bourgeois, aspirant, middle-of-the-road Democrat like I was when I went in the Peace Corps. I transformed myself, that's when I transformed myself into a screaming Marxist bitch. And I was really glad that the Peace Corps kicked me out, because I would have had a really boring life as a petty bourgeois Democrat. My life was much more interesting after that. But one of the adventures that I took. Why are we reverbing so much? Is there anything we can do about it? Okay. I turned into a radical Marxist, and I found myself on an adventure to Cuba to cut cane for Castro in 1972. And I was there for 4 months, and I learned a lot about socialist revolution in Cuba, a whole bunch, and it really stuck to my ribs. We formed a gay caucus there, about 7 of us, and that was a little dicey. It wasn't any dicier than it was in Kansas City. They just called us different names, like running dog lackey of the ruling class and shit like that. I don't know where the kinky idea came from, but the line was, if you're queer, you're not part of the working class. That's bizarre. But they thought that homosexuality came with capitalism and that it was a degenerative form of capitalism, and that before capitalism there weren't any queers. Oh, Mary, child, please rest. Could we talk about the Greeks for a minute? Can we talk about all the transgendered people who were mentors in tribal society for the last 200,000 years? So it was absurd, right? It was absurd that I wasn't in the working class. And I grew up west of Port Angeles on a tenant dairy farm, doing the work of a full-grown man when I was like 10 years old, and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16. I'm not kidding. I was doing the work of a full-grown man. Hard work, physical labor, morning, noon, night, 365 days a year. And these bozos are telling me I'm not in the working class. I don't like that very well. That one wasn't making any sense to me at all. So what was really going on was that capitalists love to create divisions among us. You know, you're queer, so you're out. You're a woman, so you're out. You're transgendered, you're out. You're an immigrant, so you're out. So let's fight with one another about whatever out we are and make a big hubbub with one another instead of looking at what they're doing. And Trump is doing a brilliant job of that. Absolutely brilliant. He has created immense divisions in the working class along all those lines that I'm talking about. Intense, that are really falling down on our shoulders right now. People are getting shot in the streets behind this bullshit. And Trump is running to the bank, laughing all the way. We have to stop this. We have to unite as a working class, or we're going to lose our lives and we're going to lose the planet. That's what we're up against. You all know it, and so do I. It's obvious. And if you think Joe Biden is going to save us, try again. He ain't. He ain't. The Democratic Party is a capitalist party, and they will go fascist like that before they'll go for socialism. like that. And that's why Joe Biden looks so limp dick right now. Thank you. We have to save ourselves. And we have to save ourselves by uniting as a class. I'm going to sing a song about it. And I wrote it in Cuba, and it was about my experience going through that nonsense. But whatever your oppression is, we all are oppressed. And by the way, straight white men are oppressed too. Very much so. And if there are any straight white men in the audience, and I'm sure that there is, we need you, and we need you really badly. And you are part of the working class, and you're not dumb fucks. That's part of uniting the class. So let's sing about it. I'm back in the closet again, back where I ain't got a friend. I have to piss and moan, 'cause I'm sitting all alone, back in the closet again. Whoopee-tie-yi-yi, sure a bummer being gay when I'm back in the closet again. The revolution started out right. Black Panthers was leading the fight. Young Laura's was on left flank, and the women drove a Sherman tank. The workers were a hunk of dynamite. A battalion of gay men brought up the rear, and we was packing 2 grenades in each brassiere. Every purse was filled with mace, carbine rifles trimmed with lace. Us campy gay guerrillas knew no fear. But I'm back in the closet again, back where I ain't got a friend. Have to piss and moan, sitting all alone, back in the closet again. Whoopee-tie-yi-yi, sure a bummer being gay when I'm back in the closet again. But the liberation forces got uptight. They screamed, "You fags ain't got no human rights. We think you guys are sick, 'cause all you want's a dick." And while we fought, pigs stole the whole damn fight. So that was the end of the revolution, my friend. Now all of us is going to the pen. They're rounding up the blacks, then they're after gay folks next. So I'm back in the closet again. Everybody. Back in the closet again, back where I ain't got a friend. Have to piss and moan, sitting all alone, back in the closet again. whoopie-tie, sure a bummer being gay when I'm back in the closet again. I brought up some water. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, now we're going to talk about sexual alienation. Deep subject. When Stonewall happened, the gay men who came out were like under 30. Because if you were over 30, you were too far in. You had a wife, you had kids, you had a mortgage, you had things to protect. And so you couldn't come out. There are a few people over 30 who came out at that time, but most of us were under 30, which meant a few things. It meant, number one, we were young. And number two, we were stupid. And number three, we were horny. And so the first thing that we learned after we hit the streets was that we could have sex with one another morning, noon, and night with glee and alacrity. Line up partners by the dozen, stack them up. Have tons of sex with a lot of different men. And that's what was going on. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was sexual liberation time, so we were sexually liberated. And I was part of that. Okay, I was queen of the bathhouse sluts, okay? Thank you. I was. And I spent 20 years being the queen of the bathhouse sluts. Stacking up, beefcake like cordwood. Lots of men. You don't want me to tell you how many. It was more than 100, let me put it that way. It was a lot, but we were all doing that. And there wasn't anything wrong with it, but there was something wrong. Because I was in the bathhouse for 20 years stacking up beefcake like cordwood, wondering why nobody loved me. That's kinky, right? That's some twisted shit. To spend 20 years having sex with hundreds of men, all the while wondering why nobody loved me. We were men raised in 1955 American culture. We were taught to compete against one another, to play football, to kick one another, to slap one another, to guard our emotions from one another, to not reveal our vulnerability to other men, to think that intimacy was something our mothers gave us, to think that intimacy was women's work. You've heard that one before, huh? That's what we thought. Consequently, we didn't have a clue how to actually love one another. I'm going to sing a song about it, and it's a pretty song. You'll like it. Jeans on, dancing like a palomino on the run. I reckon you're looking for some naked, yes I do. Climb right on up into my manger, but let me warn you about one small danger, babe. I can't shake a stranger out of you. Prancing, preening, smooth as you can. You're hotter than the popcorn, dancing in the pan, out to capture a chunk of rapture with someone new. I can hit the sack like an aristocrat if you let me be your trick in a box of Cracker Jack. But I can't shake the stranger out of you. You're a romping bronco, I must admit, stomping while your lips are chomping at the bit. I'll kiss you, but who's gonna miss you when you're chasing midnight thrill? I'd be glad to be your one-shot pleasure, even if you grieve at your leisure, babe. But I can't shake the stranger out of you. So you're hot to trot for the next buckaroo who's got the stuff to put a saddle on you and ride you higher on the thighs of desire than you ever knew. All the favorite fantasies have come to an end. We'll be waking up tomorrow needing a friend, 'cause I can't shake the stranger out of you. Oh, I can't shake the stranger out of you. Oh, I can't shake the stranger out of you. Yeah. Well, in this culture, it turns out gay men aren't the only ones who have trouble figuring out the difference between hot sex and real intimacy. We all have that trouble. All of us. It's an infection that's infected all of us. Let me tell you what it's really about. It's about capitalism again. Okay, nobody loved me because I was too small. My shoulders weren't broad enough. My nose was too big. My dick was too small. Whatever. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't handsome enough. I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I was a queer. I was taught to hate myself. I was taught to think that I was ugly. Why? So Max Factor and Estee Lauder could swoop in and sell me a bunch of goop to put on my face for $340 a bottle. And then I put it on my face, and sure enough, I was just as ugly the next morning as I was the night. So I go up back to the drugstore and buy some other goop from some other company to slap on my face to make myself beautiful. But I'm still not beautiful. So back till we fucking fall over and die. Because we're not beautiful. Well, I have a big surprise for everybody in the audience. You're all beautiful. And you were beautiful a long time before Max Factor came along. And you'll be beautiful after the factory's closed down. It's a capitalist plot to sell us junk, to make us feel bad about ourselves. And we all do. We all do. All of us have that feeling we're just not quite good enough. And it's a plot. Fuck them. So after I figured out that the basic problem that I was having in the bathhouse, why nobody loved me, was because I didn't love myself first. And after I figured that out, my life changed dramatically. And I did find someone to love me. And he's standing right over there. JB, you got to come up on the stage now. No, you got to come up on the stage now because I'm going to sing you a love song. This is my beautiful husband, Julius Broughton. He wrote the book on generosity, and he wrote the book on devotion, Honest. The most generous man I ever met, and certainly the most devoted. Hi, honey. So I'm going to sing you a love song so these people can see how much I love you. The one. Have I told you lately that I love you? Let me tell you once again somehow. Have I told you lately that I love you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Have I told you lately when I'm dreaming and the stars are shining in the sky? Have I told you heart and soul just how much I need you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Oh, my heart would break in two if you would leave me. I'd be no good without you anyhow. Have I told you lately that I love you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Go ahead, Jack. Oh, my heart would break in two if you would leave me. I'd be no good without you anyhow. Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you lately that I love you? Well, darling, I'm telling you now. Okay. Now you're off the hook, honey. He doesn't like the limelight. I'm the ham bone, he's the backbone. Trust me. 35 years. Yes. We're going into our 35th year together this year. Yeah, 35 years. I think that's the first time I've gotten through that whole song without bawling. I love you, baby doll. More than tongue can tell. Oh my goodness, Jack. What do we got next? Clara? Okay, we're going to change it. We're going to change the mood here. And we have to endure another little rap. So I hope my raps are interesting to you. They are to me. So everybody's calling me an elder these days. And I'm going, what the fuck is that about? What do you mean, elder? I'm only 35 in my head. Well, who are you talking to? But here's the deal. Before Stonewall, there were no elders in the gay community. Because after you lost your sexual capital, along about 45, you drifted into the hinterland, off into the netherworld where nobody noticed you. And so we didn't have elders. We didn't have elders before Stonewall. And every society that's ever existed on the planet for the last 200,000 years has had elders that they venerated, right? And this is our first chance to have elders that we look up to. And so it's awkward, but I'm trying to play that role, and it's hard on the shoulders. But it's really important. It's really important role to embrace. And so I have to embrace it the best way I know how. But